She said that I would destroy her life if I did this, that she'd hate me, and she stormed out. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to hear a story titled, Am I the A-hole for telling my son-in-law that his wife, my daughter, cheated on him? And a big shout out to David for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy. He's 55 years old, and recently he found out from his wife, when his wife was a little tipsy from having some alcohol, that 3 years earlier his daughter, his only child, cheated on her husband. They've been married for 4 years now. She cheated on him 1 year into the marriage, and the wife kept it secret the whole time. And understandably, this guy was pretty taken back because his daughter, who he loves, found out isn't so wonderful. And immediately he says, does her husband know? And guess what? He doesn't know. And the wife's begging and pleading, don't say anything, but he pretty much had to come to a very tough choice. And of course, you're going to see how he actually, well, you know what? I don't want to reveal too much here, but let's just say it doesn't go too well for the daughter. And I thought it'd be a very good one to go over here, guys, where showing you that guys deserve to know. And I might add also, as a little side thing to the story here, as if this guy's wife, the mother of this daughter, was so okay with hiding the truth from her husband and the guy that was being cheated on, what does this also say about her? Maybe she has some skeletons in her closet too she's hiding from. But guys deserve to know. And it's just, and I might add, at the end of the story, the comment section is very divided. You have people in there fully supporting this guy by obviously telling the son-in-law about the truth and the whole meltdown that happens after that. And other people saying it's none of his business and he's the jerk, he's the a-hole and all that. So I want you guys to listen to this whole story, and you can comment below what you think. Did this guy cross the line, or did this young guy who he told the young husband deserve to know about his wife cheating on him? And you wait till you see how he reacts to that. He says, I've been a long-time lurker, never thought I need to post anything, but pretty much everyone in my life is telling me that I am wrong. I apologize if this is long. I'm 55 years old, and I've been married for 35 years. Holy crap. I have one child, a daughter who's 32 years old. I will call her Alice. Anal Alice. And she has been with John for 10 years, married for 4. Alice has always wanted children, but they held off for a while to focus on their careers. But she recently told us that they were going to start trying to get pregnant. Smack. I don't want to hear his political correct bullshit. They aren't getting pregnant. She is. He is not carrying a kid around with morning sickness and all that for 9 months and pushing it out. What a load of crap. Drives me crazy every time. I got to comment on that. I love my daughter, and I feel like I've always had been a good father to her. But I admit she and my wife have always had a special bond. This past weekend, we went out to dinner with some friends and had a few drinks. When we got home, we had a few glasses of wine. I point this out because my wife rarely drinks, so she is a lightweight. She was tipsy, and we were talking about potentially becoming grandparents, and she made a comment about Alice's marriage that caught my attention. She said they've overcome a lot in the marriage, but then stopped herself and didn't continue. Overcome a lot, huh? Well, how do you expect him to react when he hears this? This made me curious because they've only been married for 4 years, and I wasn't aware of any roadblocks they had run into. Not that they share everything with us. I pressed her on what she meant, and finally she confessed that 1 year into the marriage, my daughter cheated with a coworker. So, how interesting that he doesn't hear about this. But Mom and her are close, and Mom kept it a secret. Now, do you think her husband John knows about this? Nope. And yet the mother can look at John, her husband, and smile at him and hug him and all that, knowing darn well his wife's a cheater. And very likely it didn't happen just once. It wasn't that one-time mistake. She tearfully confessed this to my wife a week after it happened because she supposedly felt so guilty. Of course, there were waterworks. She begged her not to say anything, and she kept her word until now. What I tell you about women and secrets. Women cannot keep secrets. Either because they can't, they just have to tell somebody, or they get a little alcohol, and then whatever it is, they can't keep secrets. Never ever tell a woman a secret, ever. because they always have at least one friend. And I've had girlfriends that have done this where you can't tell anybody, and then they tell me the secret. And it's like, I don't want to know. I learned a long time ago, I don't want to know. When I would see the look in said girlfriends, that look in the face, they're dying to gossip. Nope, 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 don't want to know. She begged her not to say anything, kept her word until now. I was blown away because I didn't think that she would ever do something like that. I don't know all the details. She got flirty with a coworker, and eventually they slept together once. Then she stopped it and has apparently been faithful ever since. Well, where's the part that John knows about this? Because you said they were something like they've overcome some things. Well, guess what? Her husband doesn't know about this. I did feel some slight guilt because I knew my wife would have not told me if she was sober, and I wonder if I should not have pressed her on it. But I can't undo what I learned. By the way, guys, in the comment section, like I mentioned, there's a lot of people. You got people on his side saying he does the right thing, which you'll see, and other people tearing him apart like he's the villain. It's not like he was, threatening to leave her if she didn't reveal what was an issue, or, was doing this under duress. Yeah, she was drinking. He's like, what are you talking about, Because he loves his daughter, loves his son-in-law, wants to find everything okay, that type of thing. I should now point out that when I was a lot younger, I was with someone who cheated on me. I have zero tolerance for cheaters due to that, so I might be biased. John is also like a son to me and my wife. She did ask me not to say anything, and this confused me. So she wants to keep it secret. Now, yes, many of us know what it's like to be cheated on. I've been there. And that guy has the right to know. It happened by the way, let's do the math. Married 4 years, happened 3 years ago, 1 year into the marriage. 1 freaking year, the honeymoon period in the marriage, and she already can't keep her legs closed for that charming coworker who she admitted to being flirty with. And this guy's the bad guy because, give me a break. He could have had that annulled if he wanted to. She did not want me to say anything, and this confused me. When she said that they had overcome a lot, and I found out what happened, I had assumed John eventually found out, and they worked through it. But no, all she meant was Alice grew as a person, and because of that became a better wife. What a steaming pile of crap. I've done a lot of stories, and maybe you guys have heard them, where the mother is defending her daughter's actions, and as it turns out that the mother's a big giant cheater too. And sometimes that daughter isn't the husband's daughter, that type of thing. I'm sure some of you guys have heard those stories. I didn't push her any further. I let her go to bed. I had not drank as much. I stayed up all night thinking. I decided then and there that either my daughter would have to confess or I would tell John. Yes, he deserved to know. Now, some of you might say, and rightfully, oh, well, he can tell the daughter, either you tell him or I'm going to tell him, and then she can make up a bunch of crap or whatever. And if I'm the father, I'd make it clear, you want to have a good relationship with me, you're going to tell him everything and not sugarcoat or bullshit him or anything like that. Not only do I think he has a right to know, but I would never be able to interact with him and act again in a normal manner, knowing this secret. I do love my daughter, and I also worry about the potential fallout because she's trying to get pregnant, and what if John finds out and the child is born? I feel like he has a right to know. He does have a right to know. I would not keep it a secret if I found out John cheated on her. The next day was Sunday, and I knew I needed to talk to my daughter. My wife was against this, but I didn't end up having her come over the next day. So, in my opinion, big surprise, he's doing the right thing. Her husband, John, deserves to know. But he's giving the daughter a chance. We're going to have this conversation. Do you go do it yourself? Either you do it, or I'm going to do it. But he does run the risk of completely destroying the relationship with his daughter and his wife and getting divorced. But then again, who's the one that caused this whole mess in the first place? The daughter. But of course, it's easier to hate on the guy. It did not go well. There's a freaking surprise. First, she blew up at her mother for telling me. Then you never tell a woman a secret because look what happened. Then she yelled at me when I told her either she confessed or I'm telling John. She said it was none of my business. And I disagreed. John is part of the family. She said I would destroy her life if I did this, that she'd hate me, etc., and she stormed out. I know you're all thinking it. The joke about women and accountability. She cheated on her husband. She kept his secret for 3 years. She, according to the wife, was flirty with the guy and obviously seduced the coworker. And nobody here is buying, and this was only one time. 1 year into the marriage. And the dad is the one that's ruining her life and destroying her marriage, blah, blah. He's the bad guy here that's destroying everything? No, honey. Your actions is what will destroy your marriage. Well, I did end up telling John, and the fallout is tremendous. So she didn't even go tell him. John packed his bags and left the home the next day, and is apparently refusing to try counseling and intends to pursue divorce. John, the husband, has every right. It's possible that if she would have told him immediately after, came in with the typical waterworks, and I'm sorry, and I'll do anything to change, and I'm so sorry, then maybe, just maybe, but the fact that for 3 years now, she's lied to him, and the mother-in-law knew about this, you can't blame him. John packed his bags and left, blah, blah, blah. Everyone hates me now. My daughter hates me. My wife is also not my wife. All our family members say I overstepped. I've spoken to some of my friends, and they said I blew up my relationship with my daughter over this. Well, okay, of course the daughter hates him because she doesn't want to accept accountability for her actions, and her marriage has gone up in smoke, so she's angry at him. She's biased. His wife is pissed off at him. I wouldn't say hates, but is really pissed off because that's ruining any chance of her becoming a grandma. And now she's going to have to explain to her friend, why is your daughter getting divorced? Well, she cheated. Makes her look bad. And of course, everybody else has had issue with this because everybody else just expects the guy to just deal with this, you know? Bullshit. This young guy had the right to know. The only one showing me any kindness is John, who thanked me for telling him. Well, I'm glad John said thank you, you know? My wife isn't on my side, and I suspect this is because she was hoping for grandchildren. Ding, ding, ding. Biased. We both are. I just feel like I didn't blow up the relationship. Alice is the one who cheated and lied. Thank you. I love her to death, and now I wonder if I made the right choice. Should I have just kept this to myself? No. You should. You gave her the opportunity. She could have done it. It's not like you just went to him behind her back. You talked to her. She threw a giant temper tantrum and all that. You know, stormed off. You said what you meant and meant what you said, and you went to him. She had the chance. It would have been a lot better if it came from her versus you. I mean, can you imagine that? Your father-in-law coming to you and telling you your daughter, your wife did this, you know? And I believe he loves his daughter, you know? But the young guy deserves to know. I've always been friendly with John, and we have dinner with them at least once a month, not including holidays or birthdays. I know I could not interact normally around him, and so what should I have done? Ban them both from my home without explanation, never go to their home again, and if they have kids, my wife will definitely want us over there more often. So I don't think I could hide this. I suck at poker. I can't just fake it. So should I have kept quiet? And I'm guessing I'm wrong for being upset with my wife isn't on my side. So he really wants to know, is he the a-hole over this? And I say no. He did what he knew darn well to be fallout. He knew his daughter would explode and it could potentially destroy the relationship for life. He knew his wife would explode and it could jeopardize his marriage. And I'm going to come back to the fact that so many times these wives hide their daughters' dirty little deeds because the wives themselves are, guess what, big fat giant cheaters. And sometimes even worse, the child that she's protecting isn't his real child. Wouldn't that be a nice twist to this story here? So this guy needs to own what he's done, end of story, because he did this in spite of knowing the fallout. So he's the brave one here. And a lot of people in the comment section, you got half the comments supporting him and then half of them tearing him a new one. And big surprise, who's tearing him a new one? A lot of women. Isn't that amazing, right? And they said things like, oh, because you were cheated on, you're biased, or because you're saying, oh, I'd have a hard time being around them and not knowing that, oh, you're being selfish to alleviate your pain. Well, a load of crap. He doesn't want this young guy to go through this. And as the saying goes, once a cheater, always a cheater. And I'm sure in the back of his mind, he knows. Probably his daughter, this isn't her first rodeo. So anyhow, in my opinion, he did the right thing. And I'm sorry he's going through this shit. And he's got to decide where things go from here. And his wife makes threats of divorce. Okay, be prepared for that. You can't cave, you can't buckle. Don't apologize for that. And this young guy deserves, because the young John here is 34 years, I forget what it is, 34 years old, or whatever the hell it is. He's young, early 30s. He can easily, once he gets over this, rebuild, start over. And the girl, well, she's in her 30s, so she's not as desirable as she once was. Hell, she's probably good looking anyway, but still, it's not as easy once you get to your 30s. Now some comments here, and I'm going to share ones, and it'll be interesting, because I want you guys, in your opinion, I want to hear what you think. Is this guy the a-hole? Did he cross the line? Or he had every right to tell his son? But I'm going to read you comments here, a very divided comment section. One guy says here, not the a-hole. You should ask your wife why she was okay with keeping your daughter's cheating a secret for 3 years and not do what you did and try and get her to tell her husband the truth. How could she look at your son-in-law and spend time with him knowing your daughter cheated and not feel bad and want to tell him? I've been wondering if there's anything else your wife has been hiding. Thank you. She had no problem lying to the son-in-law all this time and looking him in the eye and giving him a hug. Hi, sweetie. Knowing darn well what her daughter did, right? Next one. This is one angry at the guy. She says, this one is from a woman. You did not do the right thing. It was none of your business. It was in the past and not repeated, and your daughter realized her mistake. We've all heard that song and dance before. Past. It doesn't make a difference if it was 3 days or 3 years or 30 years. It still happened. This young guy had the right to know. You had no right to interfere in their marriage this way, and you have permanently damaged the relationship as well as your relationship with your wife and daughter. I hope feeling virtuous and avenging your past was worth it. It is not about his past. It's about this young guy deserved to know. And, but of course, they're trying to make him feel bad about that. But, this whole, it was a mistake. Was that the word she used? I can't. Yep, right there. I'm looking over there. I said mistake. No, that wasn't a mistake, because she admitted to the mother she was flirting with her coworker, and this happened over time. She obviously seduced him and slept with him. That is not a mistake. A mistake is leaving something in the oven too long and it burns. You know, Thanksgiving Day, you left the turkey in too long or whatever and it burns. That's a mistake. But this is a well premeditated thing. Bullshit. Another one. Not the a-hole. Morally, you're absolutely in the right. But there are consequences for every decision, even the right ones. If your daughter doesn't forgive you for blowing up her life, you'll have to live with that. One thing I would say is that if your wife is okay with hiding infidelity, I'd be taking a look at my own marriage. If I were you, what else is she hiding from you? Yep. Well, the daughter ain't going to be around very often for him to, like, you know, give him a kiss and get a little swab or get her hair and do a DNA test to see if she's his kid. I don't think this guy would want to know, really. But, yeah, what else is she hiding? All right, another one. Now we got one being angry at him. I do think you're the a-hole. What purpose did it serve to tell John? Are you shitting me? If your daughter were continuing to cheat, then tell him, but she made a mistake and corrected herself. How do you know? How do you know she corrected herself? Is she still at that same job? Is that same coworker still there that she effed? Really? How do you know she's correcting herself? And they said mistake. This was her relationship, not yours. You definitely overstepped. You say you love your daughter, and then you do this, destroying her life. Did you ever talk to your daughter as to why she cheated, or did you tell John without talking to her? Talk to the daughter why she cheated, like you mean find some reason, like she could say, well, he wasn't paying attention to me, or he left the toilet seat up, or some stupid shit like that. No, there's no discussing that. And last one, OP's wife. They've overcome a lot in their marriage. Translation, our daughter committed an unforgivable act of betrayal and then never even came clean about it. But it's okay because she has unilaterally decided to forgive herself and allow her husband to live in a lie these last 3 years rather than face any consequences for her actions. So admirable. Sarcasm, of course. Opie needs to take a very hard look at his own marriage and ask himself what other bodies might be buried if this is his wife's view on their daughter's infidelity and dishonesty. Absolutely not the a-hole. You did the right thing without a doubt. So there you go, guys. Like I said, it's a very divided comment section here, but I think he did the right thing, and he knew darn well it was going to be a whoosh. But we shall see how this goes. I'm going to be paying attention to see if there's any updates to this, you know. But 3 years, the mother-in-law didn't say anything and just knew. There's more going on here, and I'm not buying for a second this is just a mistake. It wasn't just a mistake. And there's probably other things going. There's probably other skeletons in the closet. And I like how the young guy, he packed his shit. Whoosh, he's out of there. You know? Good for him. So, alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think? Did this guy overstep his bounds? Let me hear about it. I want to hear your reasons. Or did this young guy deserve to know regardless of the fall that would happen? And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.